This 6'8 build with Hall of Fame Interceptor is a defensive menace on NBA 2K24. But not only has this build been doing really well for me, it is my go-to build when playing in competitive Pro-Am on NBA 2K24. And with this build, we are not just playing regular Pro-Am. No, we are playing in the Hall of Fame League, which is a competitive 2K Pro-Am league where the top players in the world compete in 5v5 competitive Pro-Am. But with all of that out of the way, let me show you guys the build I am using. Let's go. So for this build, I ended up making a power forward that is 6'8", 234 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. Now the maximum wingspan you can go for on a 6'8" is 7'6", and I'll explain why later on in this video why we did not go maximum wingspan on this defensive build. And one really big disclaimer before we continue on with this build video, understand that this is a build that I use for Pro-Am and Pro-Am exclusively, and it is only with my team that I play with. So understand that this build might be perfect for me and my team, but it might not be perfect for you. So use this build as a template and make the changes that you need that are necessary. All right, so starting out in the finishing, we don't really have a whole lot to talk about, but the three main things are that we get a 65 driving dunk, which is enough for the Klay Thompson dunk package, a 45 standing dunk, which is enough for the very basic standing dunk packages, as well as an 85 post control, which is going to allow us to get post fade phenom on Hall of Fame, which is essential for this build that we have made. And another reason that I did not put finishing super high on my build is because we are playing with an inside center, which many of you guys may know is Laker fans. So yeah, we're not going to put a whole lot of finishing on my build. I'm going to be shooting a lot more on this build because of the system that we're running on offense. And now moving on to the shooting, we're going to get an 86 mid-range shot. Like stated earlier, that is going to get us post fade phenom on Hall of Fame. And this is why we did not go with the max wingspan on this build. We went down one notch to get that 86 mid-range so we can get that Hall of Fame post fade phenom. And then we're also going to get badges like silver blinder, silver deadeye, as well as gold catch and shoot, which is going to help you be a knockdown shooter at the three-point line. And speaking of three-point shooting, we have a 79 three-point shot, which is going to be enough to get a silver claymore on this build, which again, combining that with gold catch and shoot is only going to make it easier to shoot at the three-point line on this build. But now let's take a look at the highlights, man, and listen, all of this gameplay is from us playing yesterday in the Hall of Fame League. This is all fresh stuff. This was not even less than a day ago at the time of this video coming out, and as you guys can see, you can be a very solid offensive option, even though this build mains in defense. Now, you don't have to be unstoppable on offense with this build. Again, you're just going to be playing a very specific role. You're going to be a knockdown shooter when it comes to your catch and shoot shots, and you can also create some shots in the mid-range area and especially out of the post. As you guys can see, we are using a very fast jump shot, which I will show you guys later on in this video, so keep on watching all the way through so you can see the jump shot that I am using on this build. And I promise you guys, it is the best jumper that you can use on these swing builds, you know, your 6'5" to 6'9" builds, okay? But yeah, no, again, overall, this build is very solid, and to my people that are a little concerned about shooting with that 79 three-point shot, understand it is not that hard to shoot with a low three-pointer in this game, especially when you're only just doing catch and shoot shots. Not only that, but you also do get gold catch and shoot, which will make your job easier on this build when it comes to spotting up. And one really big tip that I do want to give you guys when it comes to being a more consistent shooter is make sure you get your lethal zones by going to the Art of Shooting facility once a week and doing some shooting drills in there. It's a really great spot that you can go to get rid of some cold zones or add some lethal zones, which again is going to make it a lot easier to shoot in those areas that you have marked as a lethal zone. But, you know, overall, this build is a really good shooting build. That mid-range shot is going to be super knocked down, whether it's your midi pull-ups, your midi step backs, or your post game. But now let me show you guys the jump shot that I was using. All right, so when it comes to the jump shot I was using, I am using Ben Shepherd base and pure Troy Brown Jr. upper releases on this build. Now, the jump shot is insanely fast, and if you don't believe me, take a look at this right here. When you crank the release speed all the way down on the custom jump shot, in the bottom right hand corner in the shot attributes, it still has an A+ release speed, so you know this shot is insanely fast. All right, so now moving on to the playmaking, we're going to get a 75 pass accuracy, which is going to get you a few things. First things first, it's going to get you silver break starter, which is essential to help you pass the ball up the court to get some easy transition buckets to your outlet receivers. And then it's also going to allow you to unlock two passing styles, which include John Morant and Domantas Sabonis. Now, between the three that you would technically have available between those two, Ja, Domantas, you also have none. Domantas Sabonis is probably my personal favorite, and it's something that I definitely recommend that you use with this build. Then moving on to the ball handle and speed with ball, we have both of them at 40, so we can unlock all of the normal dribble sigs, which include your normal dribble style, which is very, very good, and it is miles better than the basic dribble style, and I highly recommend that you get at least a 40 ball handle and 40 speed with ball on all of your big man builds, or even your swing builds. build, just so you can at least get that good dribble style. But now let's take a look at some of these playmaking highlights. Right here, getting the ball in the corner, about to post up, and then I see the lock shot and double me, kick it out to my open PG, and it is an easy open 3. Now, I wouldn't say a 75 pass accuracy is elite, but it is serviceable, okay? With everything else you have going on with this build, sometimes you just need to have just enough ratings in some other categories to make this build really work. As you can see, we can also definitely throw the break on this build. We do only have silver break starter, and sometimes you're not going to get the cleanest catches, and that is okay. But 75 pass accuracy actually does feel surprisingly good in a half court set. But then again, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have something that's higher. All right, so now moving on to the defense, we're going to have an 87 perimeter defense on this build, which is going to get you silver clamps as well as gold challenger, which is going to make this build more than good enough on the perimeter, whether you're guarding guards, guarding bigs, it does not matter. The 87 perimeter is going to be perfect. Big thing with this build, we have a 95 steal, which is going to get you interceptor on Hall of Fame, which is one of the main reasons why we made this build, because we really wanted to have Hall of Fame interceptor across the court in any spot we could possibly have. And then not only that, you also do get access to gold glove, gold right stick ripper. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't really go for plucks like that a whole lot on this build, which is crazy because I have a 95 steal. Maybe I should go for more pluck. Then moving on to with the rest of the defense, we're gonna get an 87 block, which will get you silver anchor as well as gold chase down artist, as long as you have your vertical up to an 80, a 72 offensive rebound, and then a 93 defensive rebound, which will get you gold rebound chaser as well as Hall of Fame box out beast, as long as you have a 90 strength, which we do have on this build. Now listen, this build on defense is absolutely insane. You're going to be able to get a crazy amount of steals on this build. Having that Hall of Fame interceptor is going to allow you to get some really great passing lane steals, and even though you only have silver anchor, you can still get plenty of stops on this build, especially when you're in the paint. And then although you are only 6'8", you're still going to be able to get a lot of rebounds with that gold rebound chaser, with that Hall of Fame box out beast. And a big thing too is that even though you're not going to always get the rebound, you're definitely going to secure the box out more often than not for your team, so your center can come down and get that rebound. And then again, man, as you guys are seeing right here, man, that Hall of Fame interceptor is something else. It's going to allow you to get crazy passing lane steals, especially in transition where they don't see you coming, and you can get that easy passing lane steal like I showed you right there. And now here is the build fully maxed out, and I just want to point out a couple things with the physicals. We are going to get that 90 strength, which is going to get you box out beast on Hall of Fame, and one other really important thing with that as well is you're going to get immovable enforcer on gold. And another thing with the physicals, again, make sure you have your vertical to an 80 so you can get chase down artist on gold with this build. And then that's pretty much it for the physicals. Make sure your speed's maxed out and go with about a 70 acceleration on this build. And now this build is complete, and you're going to come out of the My Player Builder and get the player comparisons of Al Horford, Jaren Jackson Jr., and I don't want to even try and pronounce that name because I'm a casual when it comes to NBA. But hey, you get the build name, two-way spot up threat on this build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the Pro-Am content. There's going to be a lot more Pro-Am content coming out soon, and I'm going to be using different builds in Pro-Am as well, which include a Nikola Jokic build, which will be coming out very soon. Hope you guys enjoyed, man. I'm out. Peace.